What a gold medal game between the United States and Canada yesterday, Tony.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. What better place to spotlight it than ESPN2? Huh?
Wasn't hockey one of the NHL one of the early things regularly on the deuce, like 45 years ago? Wasn't that a thing?
I don't know. I just know that we're on ESPN2 so that people can hit golf balls into a bed sheet, which I like, and you don't. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Winter Olympics conclude. Duke tops Michigan, and LeBron has some thoughts on MVP. But we begin today one last time with the Winter Olympics and the gold medal hockey game yesterday, in which the United States beat Canada 2-1 on a 3-on-3 goal by Jack Hughes 1 minute and 41 seconds into the overtime. The U.S. goalie Connor Hellebuyck turned away 41 shots in an outstanding performance, and Canada's Jordan Binnington stopped 28 shots for Canada. Canada and the United States were expected to make the final, and they did. Wilbon, how did you like the game and the outcome?
Tony, I'll hit the outcome first because that's what everybody's focused on, even if people didn't watch the game and you had to wake up pretty early to do so on a Sunday morning. It was almost anticlimactic, as spectacular as it was, you know, and as wanted as it was for the United States of America and the people who follow the team. The game was unbelievable. I thought the third period alone was just sort of the most sustained, great period of hockey that I've ever seen. And so I'm comparing it to, yes, periods in Game 7s and Game 6s for the Stanley Cup Final. That's mostly what I'm comparing it to. I've seen some Olympic hockey in person. This surpassed that, and I thought that was great. So the level of play was astounding. The action, the end-to-end rushes were amazing, and the goaltenders, like you talked about. It's just the score, it seems, could have been like 6-1 Canada, given all of the saves made, and just for the United States. So just by Hellebuyck. So the goaltending alone is a story, and it's just it's wow. I don't know how you get a better gold medal game and a better period of play than we got yesterday.
Let me just say that in the East Coast, the game started at 8:15, which is not a hardship to get up on a Sunday morning at 8:15. You're a couple of time zones away, I'm sure. I watched every second of the game, and I'm not a hockey guy. It was as great a game as you could ever hope for, it seemed to me. The goals were fabulous, and there weren't too many of them, and that's important because the goaltending was terrific. The goaltending, as you said, carried the entire game, I felt. It's odd because when I think of NHL goalies, I first think of Russian goalies, but they, of course, were not there. I held my breath throughout every power play. I didn't think the United States could get through the 4-minute power play against them in the third period, and it turned out that Canada committed a penalty as well, so they didn't have to get through all of that. I felt that the winning goal, was right out of a textbook. It was fabulous. Now, it's not Eruzione. It's not, but it's in the environs, as we like to say. Here's this kid, his parents are there, his brother is on the team, and his smile of joy reveals all the teeth got knocked out about 3 minutes earlier in the game. I mean, it was tremendous, right? And it's a great win for the United States because it's first time in 30 years that best on best between Canada and the United States, that the United States won. My small quibble, Mike, is with 3-on-3. It's a very small quibble.
You don't like it much?
If I ran the world, I loved it. But if I ran the world, I'd have gone 15 or 20 minutes of 5-on-5 to get to 3-on-3. I wouldn't have gone 3-on-3 just as an expedience to end the game. I found myself agreeing with the Canadian coach who said, when you take 4 players off the ice, hockey is not hockey anymore. But it's a small quibble. I am totally satisfied by that experience. It was great.
I don't even have that quibble tone because I think that 3-on-3 is a lot closer to 5-on-5 than penalty shots, than shootout. And I know that's not the way it's decided, but 3-on-3, I mean, wow, we saw, and Canada benefited to get there from a 3-on-3 goal in overtime. So, they better not quibble either. Yeah, the game before. So I don't want to, I'm with you. I can see a small quibble. I don't even have that because I find it breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking, the whole thing. So let's zoom out to look at these winter games as a whole. Alyssa Liu ended a 24-year gold medal drought in women's figure skating for the United States. Ilya Malinin, the quad god, won team gold but fell apart in men's singles, placed 8th. A gruesome injury ended Lindsey Vohn's odds-defying Olympic run. Michaela Schifrin hurdled her mental block and skied to goal in her final race. So these are just a few of the biggest stories, American stories, Tony. How are you going to remember the games?
All right, you and I have been to Winter Olympics. We know what they're about. I don't want to sound like a downer because I really like the Winter Olympics. But for me, early on, all of those disappointments took a toll on me. Let's start with Lindsey Vonn. That was the first one. She has that terrible crash. The quad god, as you said, he falls twice. He doesn't get onto the podium. Michaela Schifrin, her first 2 races is way out of the money. She's not even close to the podium. Chloe Kim, silver instead of gold. And so this builds up in me. Now, I understand it got better second week. Michaela Schifrin had the most dominating slalom race into anybody's memory, the most dominating. As you said, Alyssa Liu, she wins for the first time in that event since Sarah Hughes in 2002. Men's and women's hockey win gold in overtime against a big rival, against the #1 rival, Canada. So it begins to balance out. But I have to say there was a certain deflation for me early that made it hard for me to embrace what happened the rest of the way. Elena Myers, right? Is that her name? I believe that's her name. She won in the bobsled, an American, and Stoltz won a couple of speed skating races. But I had more negatives than positives. I did.
Yeah, a couple of reactions. One, I love being at the Olympics, Tony. As you know, it's different. You consume them differently. I don't just consume American news when I'm at the Olympics.
Yep.
I get to see up close and identify international athletes that I would not if I was sitting in my house in front of a television, which is how I consume them now. So that is always missing, and I'm just not into the only American stories. It's not exclusively the American Olympics to me. I cannot get away, particularly with this latest post from Lindsey Vonn. The fall, which could have been, I mean, it was devastating as it was athletically, competitively. It could have been worse than that. It could have been tragic, as she has posted. And so I hear that, and going into these games, Lindsey Vonn, because we've known her from so many Olympic Games and World Championships and her public People magazine sort of life in the United States of America, maybe worldwide, we know her. And in my case, I've met her once. I was going to root for her. And she's not in. Yeah. She's not in very long. And now we get this updated account. And I'm just like, whoa, I need to move to something else here, because I'm just glad that it sounds like she's going to be okay. That's what I leave these games hoping for.
Let me make a correction. It's Elena Myers-Taylor who won in the bobsled event. And I will just say briefly, I know you don't watch the figure skating. I love the pairs figure skating. Love it. Love to watch it. Thought we got completely hosed in the ice dancing. And I like most of it, although it's made up events. I mean, curling is not made up. It's probably still going on. Cross-country skiing, probably still going on.
It's like the original.
Let's move to college basketball and the terrific games that went on over the weekend among high-ranking teams. Number 3, Duke beat number 1 Michigan Saturday evening in Washington, D.C. Number 4, Arizona beat number 2 Houston in Houston. Number 6, Iowa State lost at number 23 BYU, and number 8, Kansas lost at home by 16 to unranked Cincinnati. That is the most lopsided home loss to an unranked team in Bill Self's 23 years in Lawrence, Kansas. Wilbon, after all that, who would you make the number 1 seed right now?
Duke. I'd make Duke the overall number 1 over in Michigan, the next number 1. If I'm ranking them 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd go Duke, Michigan. And then there are arguments other way. You know, I think the AP put Arizona 3rd. I'm fine with that. So Arizona and Houston would be in that mix, right? So that would be, but 1 and 2, my top number 1 seeds would be Duke and Michigan. That game was incredible, Tony. And I found myself looking at that game more for the individual players, because we're going to get to March. We have plenty of time for that. I wanted to see the players. We talked to Jay Billis a few days ago about how many players. He mentioned 20, and I certainly agree. Just watching all weekend long, not just those games Saturday afternoon, but A.J. Demansky on Saturday night, I believe it was, for BYU. There's a whole slew of players out there. Cincinnati's got a kid. There's a slew of players, and I wanted to individually identify them. So when we get to March, I hope I know what I'm seeing. But to answer your question, Duke would be my top seed.
Yeah, if they're at 20, then you don't have to tank. And if they're at 20, you can just flatten all the odds for the teams that are in the lottery. If they're at 20, maybe they're at 20. I, too, would put Duke number one because it's very impressive that they beat Michigan on a neutral court because Michigan was the number one team. You know, Duke's got a couple of losses, but one of them, I believe, is to Iowa State, who I think beat Arizona at some point. Is that in my notes? Yeah. And then they also lost to a blood rival, North Carolina in Chapel Hill. So they're one. I would differ with you. I would have Arizona, too. I think the AP has Arizona, too, because Arizona beat Houston and Houston. And here's who else Arizona has beaten this year already, Mike. Florida, UConn, Alabama, and BYU. And that's very impressive.
Resume.
Great
resume.
Yeah, I would slide Michigan in there right at 3. And I would acknowledge that Michigan had an incredibly difficult back-to-back, Purdue and Duke. You know, coming out 1-1 on that is not bad at all. So that would be my top 3. I will say this, that I'm getting very anxious for March and for the tournament because in the last couple of weeks, we have had really good teams play really good teams all the time. We've been able to see this. It's going to continue like that. And there are teams I haven't really dwelt on, like UConn, for example, and St. John's has won 13 in a row. Florida, you know, is, I believe the defending champion. So with football out of the way and the Olympics out of the way, I got to have something to watch. So why not watch this?
You got Houston, Kansas. You got Houston, Kansas tonight. Yeah. In case you're not interested in Pistons Spurs, you got that.
I think Arizona gets Iowa State and Kansas at home in the next couple of weeks. The guy's second shot on 18. It's a great shot. And then his putt, you heard in the booth, they said, oh, no. It was like almost 5 feet short. But he made it. Good for him. He made the whole thing. And as you said, he said, I couldn't even feel my hands. Yeah, that's nervous. That's nervous. So
last one.
Here we go. Is LeBron, I need glasses. Is LeBron right that Jaylen Brown is being overlooked in the MVP conversation?
I think so, Tony. Not wildly overlooked. Somebody asked LeBron about this yesterday. The Celtics sort of, you know, gave the Lakers a smackdown in L.A. And I do vote, and I don't even have a ballot in my head yet, but I'll put one in there now. And I probably would go Cade Cunningham 1. Jaylen Brown would be no lower than 3rd because I got Wembanyama in somewhere in there, probably 4th for Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic might be 2nd. So those 4 guys would be in the mix, and Jaylen Brown could be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. So I wouldn't have him as low as 6th, like apparently is the case now in some of these straw polls. So I'm with LeBron. Two-way player. You've mentioned early on, kudos to you, the Celtics look great because of Jaylen Brown, and they do.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know who LeBron is listening to. I don't know what LeBron is seeing. But I don't know how you can have a ballot and not have Cade Cunningham and Jaylen Brown actually at the top of it. I mean, what are you watching? Cade Cunningham is the best player on the team with the best record in the NBA. Jaylen Brown is the best player on the most surprising team in the NBA, a team without its best player, without Jason Tatum. They're up there. They're elevated because of Jaylen Brown. I know you slurp Wembanyama all the time, but I don't believe Wembanyama is more valuable this year than Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, he has stepped up. I mean, look, when you talk about Gilgeous-Alexander and Jokic and Luka, they are doing what they're supposed to do. We know who says that, supposed to do. This guy is exceeding expectations, Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jaylen Brown is either one or 2 for me, and Cunningham is the other.
Tony, I said 1, 2, or 3, so it's not like we're in massive disagreement there. No, Jaylen Brown's having a hell of a season. And by the way, don't mention Luka. No, Luka doesn't even get... No, Luka's not first team All-NBA. I don't care about 32 points a game. The Lakers are like the 12th out of all the playoff teams, and I guess there's going to be 16 of them. The Lakers are no higher than 12th. He's playing with LeBron. He's playing with Austin Reeves. No, don't want to hear it.
Enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Angels owner Artie Moreno wonders how much fans care about winning. Well, if you put a winning product out there, they'd show you.
Been a while since they've done that. And who has the edge when the Spurs, with Wembanyama, who Tony doesn't like yet, face the Pistons tonight?
No, Tony doesn't love to an upset over the Bulls team that ended up 72-10 and NBA champions. Chapman's 39 was the boast against the Bulls all season. Chapman later told Rich Eisen, quote, "The Bulls treated the trip to Miami like a mini vacation. They were out all night long in South Beach. I know because I was with them part of the night. They swept us out of the playoffs in 3 games like we were a JV team, but we got them that one night. They'd be 73-9 if not for us."
There was one more surprising loss the Bulls had that year. Toronto, which was 17-49, beat the Bulls, who at the time were 60-7 in that record-setting year. But Rex Chapman, Tony, if he was coming along now with his ability to shoot and shoot it from deep, Rex was born too early, as our friend Charles Barkley likes to say. I mean, Rex would be an even bigger star now if he was, say, 22 years old.
Happy trails, Dylan Brooks. The Suns forward broke his left hand Saturday night against the Magic and will be out 4 to 6 weeks. Brooks is known for his defense and his many technical fouls, but this year he's upped his scoring average by nearly 7 points to 21 a game. His play was one of the catalysts for the Suns' surprising rise in the standings. They're 33-25, 7th in the West, under first-year head coach Jordan Ott. But with Brooks out and Devin Booker sidelined at least a week with a hip strain, Suns could be setting.
Tony, Brooks has probably been the MVP of that team. Who saw that coming? But now to sort of hold the fort while he's out that long, you're right, it seems very unlikely.
One correction, Duke lost to Texas Tech, not Iowa State. That's my bad. Let's go to the big finish quickly.
Let's do it.
Kevin Durant plans on playing in the 2028 Summer Games in L.A. Are you surprised?
No. Kevin Durant likes to play. Every day, if you let him, you might see him on a playground near your kid's school. He likes to play. Pat Riley got a bronze statue outside the Lakers arena. That makes sense to you, doesn't it?
Did you ever hear a three-peat? That's Riles. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami lost their MLS opener to LAFC. You disappointed?
No. Magic's team, 75,000 plus fans at the LA Coliseum. Second biggest crowd in league history, Tone. Angels owner Artie Moreno said fans want affordability and security, and winning isn't in their top 5. You agree with that?
Sell the team. Sell the team to someone who wants to win. Sell it. Last one, Spurs at Pistons tonight. Who you got?
Woo! Pistons have won 5 straight. Spurs have won 8 straight. I'm just going home court advantage.